very nice. We had a nice chat. I was on for 55 minutes, and it takes so long. And he had me doing the reset from the watch, not from the phone, like I was doing it. And I thought, well, maybe that's the difference. I didn't know how to do it on the phone. You pull down, and you go to this, that gear, which is a settings icon, and then you go in there and you could do reset. Took forever. So
While
then
while we're on the Samsung phone, Bill or Carl, maybe you can tell me. For a while, if I shook my wrist, it would light up and I'd see it. It's not doing that now. What do I need to change?
mine either, and that was one of the points I brought up. That used
And
to do it. Well, it wouldn't do it at night. Interestingly, the new one, it was after some period that your sleep
yeah,
time.
yeah, but
It would
I
do
got
it.
it right now
You'd have
too.
to
It's not
touch
doing.
it at night. So it was a very
You could
nice
have
feature.
gestures turned off, or you may have it on power saving.
I don't know. But any rate, so we did all that, did the reset, and then I said, we're on the phone here 55 minutes. It did upload it, it said it was installed, the reset was done, the software was updated supposedly. So I said, I think I could handle it from here. I don't want to use any swear words, but when we were all done, nothing was fixed.
Oh, really? It still didn't work.
Didn't work.
Hmm.
I got a case number, but I was so worn out and so disappointed. So, Bill, all of your suggestions were good, but then I did your thing. I went into the health thing and tried to change the settings in there and so forth. And I have a watch. I've got the pen now. I go for a walk with my dog. I want to know how good my sleep was. I love it when I get that overall, the quality. They call it your health battery. They call it your health battery, which is an interesting term. And I get nothing on there. And it just, I don't know. I had to watch it was brand new when you and I bought it. I bought it at the same time you got yours, Bill. And it was working. All those things are working out or not. So I'm not. I don't want anybody to try to help me because I've had.
Carl, do you have a Best Buy that has a Samsung store?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. I for reminding me that I could go back. Well, I bought it at a T-Mobile store,
It doesn't
actually.
matter, but the
Yeah.
Samsung person there at the Best Buy will possibly can help you.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah. Okay. Well, I was going to go
Yeah.
back to T-Mobile too, but anyway, that's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Carl, do you
Yep.
have the S35, S25?
24. No, well, I got the 2 year. I think you don't want to upgrade before 2 years, I think, because of the plan I have. It's, you pay so much a month for 2 years. You don't buy the phone outright. You get a
Yeah.
contract.
The only thing I would say as well is again is that it a lot of times we spend a huge amount of time trying to figure all this stuff out and it's not your fault. It's some problem that is everyone else is having, dealing with that, and miraculously next month it goes away, and that usually coincides with an update to the software, right? And it may be nothing that you're doing wrong. It just may be that specific update that didn't work with that combination of phone and watch, right?
Are you
Yeah.
suggesting that software has bugs?
Yeah.
Well, after that, he said the software was reset. I did a software reset on the phone, on the watch. You can do these things on the watch. I always thought you had to do it from the phone. So I learned that part of it. And the only reason I'm telling you all this, in case somebody else is having a problem, you're not alone. I'm not here to bitch
Did it fix your
or
problems?
anything. I'm not trying to make anybody feel badly
But
or
there
anything.
has, there has been a phone update. I got that last week. I mean, not a
Well,
phone,
by the way, I
a
asked
watch
the guy.
update.
There is a UI update coming for the phone for the S20 for phone,
Yeah,
Right.
and he said
There
that
was-
should be out this month. And he said it varies depending on the carrier and so forth, which I got. I don't have that alert yet, but he said I should get it in the next 5 days. But I talked to him this was last Friday. I talked to him.
Yeah, they delayed it until July, I believe.
Oh, is that right? Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have. I don't want to beat it to death.
Okay,
All
we're
right.
getting
So
an
did
echo.
We're getting an echo. Who's got an open mic? I wonder if it's
Not mine. I normally don't have an echo. Somebody's giving me an echo too.
Okay.
Now
Murray,
it's
go
good.
ahead.
Morning. I just thought I'd say hello before I eat breakfast. I just got back from swimming. I went swimming early this morning. So anyway, but did want to mention my Apple Watch uh, is too old to get the sleep apnea app that is available now in Canada. So I don't know if it doesn't seem like I've had it that long, but I can't get the sleep apnea app on it.
Oh,
Is it out in Canada?
Yes, it is. It's available in Canada.
Okay. And when you go to the Apple store, it's not there. You can't see it. Doesn't list it.
Yeah, well, the thing is that it says that I looked it up. My watch doesn't get it. My
Oh,
watch is
you
just
have an old enough watch, it doesn't get
my
it.
watch is just. I mean, it's only about 2 years old, but it doesn't get it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No, I don't like to think
Time
about
time for a new
upgrading.
watch, Murray.
Yeah, but that's only 2 years, and I'm used to paying $9.95 for watches.
yeah. See, now you pay 995.
Yeah, I know.
Last
Big
2 years.
difference.
And remember, you guys, you got to remember that you're lucky if you get 3 years out of a watch because the batteries don't last in them, and you can't replace the batteries in the watch. So if you're spending $600 on a watch, maybe you should spend a little more and buy a Rolex because then at least it'll last, right? Because you got to look at it as how much is it a month or how much are you willing to pay? Because it's insane to spend $600 on a watch that lasts 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Timex? Those were the ones that went on and on. Remember that slogan?
Well, actually, the one I
Keep on
had.
ticking.
The ones I had were the ones I really liked were the well, I bought a few of them at Radio Shack before it sort of got subsumed by Circuit City or whatever. But I got them on sale for $9.95 each. They were atomic watches, and the last one that I bought, after 3 years, the battery died, and I went in there to get a new battery for it, and they looked it up and said, "Oh, you get a free battery for that. That's still under warranty. You get another free battery." So that lasted another 3 years, and they changed it for me too.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
have a Galaxy 4 watch, and the battery doesn't last 24 hours anymore.
No.
I'm having the same problem.
Well, you know what happened to my Galaxy 4, Drew, is that I wear Fitbit most of the time, and I only use the Galaxy 4 watch to do the testing and to do the videos I did, right? So I left it sitting in the original box, and I thought, well, I'll just charge it up when I want it. And so finally when life changed and I thought, well, I'm going to use the watch now. I went to charge it up and it was dead. Like the battery was dead. And so it wouldn't charge, it wouldn't come up and it wouldn't go. And that's a common problem. If you do get a watch and you're not going to use it, leave it on the charger because if that watch runs down and goes to zero, you will not be able to restart it.
Hmm.
So just be careful with that because I had to throw it out. There was
Yeah.
no, it wouldn't, you couldn't even turn it on. And when I looked up support, they said, yeah, if you let the battery go to zero and it completely dies, then it will lose the software in there will go zip and you can't reach. At least this was on the Samsung. This was on the Samsung one,
Hmm.
the Watch 4. Anyway, so the other one that I have, and I think I've done a bunch of videos about it, is Gail and I have the Fitbit Charge 6, and that to me is the best deal in town because you can pick them up in the United States for under $100, and I think in Canada they're around $150. And it has all the cardiac monitoring features on it that the $400 or $500 watches do. It's great. It's a really good deal. Chris, go ahead. Chris, go ahead. You're out doing your tour, are you? Unmute
We
yourself.
did.
Unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay. It's bright out here. I'm having a hard time seeing the screen. I was just wondering if you were seeing. Oh, sorry. Some ship is blowing a whistle.
We can't hear it.
We hear you fine.
Oh,
We hear you fine.
Oh, okay. That's the magic of Zoom, that it blocks out background noise. That was a loud whistle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to know if you were seeing. I was just walking around the ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it looks
And-
perfect. Yeah.
And the one thing that I want people to notice is how uncrowded it is.
That
know,
was,
I think-
I did notice that.
That's a big difference between a residential ship and a regular cruise ship that has, and pulled up right next to us, let me turn the camera around, is a celebrity ship. All right, come on. That you can see it is so much bigger than ours.
Oh, wow. Oh,
And we got an email this morning from one of our Geeks on Tour followers that says that they just pulled up next to us. They are on the celebrity. So we're hoping that we can figure out a way to meet with them before the day is over.
Yeah.
Our all aboard is 3:30. And then over this way, just want you, that is Cartagena, Colombia. Big city.
oh, wow.
All right. That's all. I just wanted to check and see that everything was working here. So
Okay. Everything's
Yeah.
okay. Murray, do you
Works-
still have your
works.
hand up? Sorry, Murray, you still have your hand up? Are you're finished? Are you or? Okay. Well,
I think
Steve Parker, go ahead.
Put
Yeah,
his
so
hand down.
so for the onboard movies, are they going to be showing Poseidon Adventure and Titanic?
Oh, dear.
No.
Yeah, so if it
No,
stops
no,
by,
no, no.
if it stops by this virtual island that I'm on, you can say hi.
Yeah.
No.
Here's an old sailor from a way back. Greg, go ahead.
Does your statement about batteries, does that refer to all batteries?
No, no.
You know, this
No,
computer
this was just
batteries?
this was on the Galaxy 4 watch. And I'm not sure if it pertains to all watches, probably all the Galaxy line,
Well,
but
I bought a pair of hearing aids and I didn't use them for a couple of months, so I didn't charge them. And I went back to charge it and it wouldn't hold a charge. So I talked to the company and they said, "Did you leave it go to zero?" And I said, "I don't know if I left it go to zero or not. There's nothing on the hearing aids that'll tell you that." So I had to buy some new hearing aids.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Greg, I honestly don't know the answer to that. I think that my impression from the tech support stuff I read about it was when the battery goes off and it goes to zero, there's not much memory in the device to hold the software in there to keep it going, right? And mine had been sitting for probably over a year dead, right? And so there's just nothing there to hold any of the software in there. So the problem then is when you go to try to repair it or restart it up or get it going again, it's dead. Your device isn't, nothing can see it. It won't work. It doesn't find it. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, anyway, I want to make one more statement. Here about a month ago, I had cataracts removed in both eyes, and it cleaned my eyes up, and I don't have to wear glasses anymore.
Mm.
How many
did the
fingers
same
am I
thing,
holding? How many
Greg.
fingers am I holding up?
Yeah, 3, 2.
Four.
Greg, I did the same thing.
Yeah, I was amazed. He checked my eyes, and he just said, "You're good to go now."
Yeah, I don't wear glasses anymore.
Well, the reason I'm telling Ron this is because quite some years ago, when we were down at Mesa or down at Silver Ridge, Ron came over to my house and tried to show me an app, and then he had me take my glasses off, and he put the cell phone on the floor and asked me to read it. I
Oh,
could hardly
remember that.
see it.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Oh, Greg, I got to tell you something. Did you know? And who else is here that would? Anyway, they got the computer club going this year at Silver Ridge, so they resurrected our computer club, and in fact, they have been having meetings all winter, which I just found out about.
Well, that's good. I'm still
Yeah.
not going down there.
No, I'm not, but anyway, so I just thought you know, because they got the old club going again, and so it's activated. So that's sort of cool.
Yeah. Well, how many people are in it?
I didn't get it. It's in the theater, not in the auditorium.
Oh,
So they're doing it in the theater.
and much smaller.
Yeah, much smaller. I have no idea. I don't know the person who gave me that information never went to any of the meetings, so I don't know. Katie Gertz is doing most of the stuff, the presentations, and so I can't answer that. Carl, go ahead. Unmute yourself, Carl.
Is Chris and Jim on their own private ship? I don't see any passengers.
They're sort of a wealthy, yeah, it's their private ship. It's their yacht. It's their super yacht.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah, there will never be that many people on board this ship. But today we are in port, and a lot of people got off the ship to go places. But this is pretty normal.
It looks like a palace.
It feels it feels like home. Yeah, it really does. I am just so happy. And compared to yesterday, I was just completely stressed. You know, why are we doing this? Are we crazy? Are we ever going to get there?
So Chris, you're on what's referred to as a residential cruise ship?
Yes, it is a residential cruise ship. People here live here. They're not just on a week or 2 week cruise.
Wow. That's wonderful.
Now, a lot of people are living here in part-time, you know, for 3 months or 4 months. We chose the option to buy a cabin and live here permanently. But there are all sorts of other options, but including even renting from an existing, you know, if we wanted to leave the ship for a month or so, we could choose to rent our cabin, and people could rent it even just for a week. But that's kind of unusual.
What's your itinerary?
Our itinerary is to continually sail around the world. Right now, we are in Cartagena, Colombia. We are headed west, going to go through the Panama Canal and then up the west coast of Mexico, take a little jog over to Hawaii and back to California, then continue up the west coast through to Alaska, over to Japan, down to Taiwan and the Philippines, and we end this year in the South Pacific.
Wow.
We pick up next year, continuing on, go around New Zealand, around Australia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. You guys have accumulated a lot of technology and gadgets. Where do they all go?
Well, I'll let Jim. Are you there, Jim?
Yeah, I'm here. They go, well, yeah, we have a lot of stuff, and we're going to figure that out. We don't know yet. We don't need to have all as much stuff as I had. And I'm hoping that, they promised to have some sort of a studio on board. So we're going to put together a studio for, YouTubers that are on board, and maybe we'll set some of that stuff up. Right now, I'm just on my laptop.
You just get a second cabin and use that as your work cabin.
Okay, you pay for it, and we'll do that. I would love to have a second cabin storage.
That would be really cool. Yes.
It's very
How
expensive.
long do you spend in any one port?
Up to a week, but not normally. 2 days is typical. Maybe 3. Sometimes it's just 1. Depends.
But generally we are in port more than we are at sea. So
the question I have is, do you get the gas bill? Like when they fill up the ship with gas, do you sort of divide do they pass the hat around or what happens?
That is part of our monthly fee.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we are paying $5,000 a month for the 2 of us. That includes all food, all laundry, all cleaning services, the gym, the internet, and the travel. So meaning the fuel and whatever it takes to run the ship. Yes.
I'd like to do that for the summer and get out of Florida.
Come on,
you
man.
can do that. Well, except for, summer, we're going to be in Alaska, but I understand that August in Japan is hotter than anywhere. So I don't know. It sure is hot here, which is why I came inside. It's nice and cool in I'm in the choral room right now, the entertainment room.
Chris,
Have you
yesterday,
had it?
Chris, yesterday when you were doing your show, you were sitting at the bar having a beer. I was curious how much, like this is your home. How much was the beer at the bar? It wouldn't be the same price as on a cruise ship, would it? Or what was the price of the beer?
Have you looked, Jim? I'm not sure how much it was.
$3.50 each. So it's $7.
$3.50. Okay.
And
Or-
realize that included in our $5,000 a month is 2 beer or 2 wine at lunch and dinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now if you go to the bar, that's extra. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
if you go to the bar, you pay, but
Ah,
lunch and
okay.
dinner, you get 2 wine or beer.
And there are
Wow.
several bars around the ship too. So you have all
So
kinds
can
of
you-
opportunities to spend money.
What if you drink
It's-
4 at lunch and
It's
none at dinner?
coming up on 1 o'clock.
Then you have to pay.
Yep. Time.
All right,
time,
we got to
Ron.
get going here. We got to get going. We're going to mute
Be here.
everybody and get the show going.
There's no sound.
I'll find out.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tech for Senior. This is, of course, April the 21st. I want to thank everybody for coming today and wish you a happy Easter Monday. It's a great day. Thank you for coming and being here today. We have a great show for you today with lots of exciting things. We are, of course, we do have our Thursday show this Thursday, which we review all the tech news of the week. So if you haven't come to visit us on Thursday, please consider that. We have of course, Chris and Jim, we were talking earlier. They're going to be doing their cameo appearance from Cartagena, Colombia on their new residential ship. I'm sure we'll have a great video. Chris is going to take us for a walk around the ship. We have a few scheduling changes. She tells me she's not doing her Drunken Sailor song that I put out in the newsletter. So we have a little amendment there. So anyway, but I think you'll enjoy what she has to say. We also have Bob is still away this week, and so he does not have a tech tech talk for us today. So I'm again moving one of the videos from our Premiere service up into the time slot today, and I'm going to be talking again about 2 new health apps. And this has to do with health apps for your phone and watch, and I think you'll find that interesting. And we were talking a lot about it earlier on in before the show, so this should follow along with that. And also, Huey, as part of the premiere video that will be coming, Huey's going to talk on the phone link, and Chris is going to talk about added descriptions to Google Photos. And those are both, and as well as my health apps video will be on the premiere version, which will be at 1:30. Let me just unmute myself. I want to introduce everyone today quickly because we want to start the show early because it is a big show. All right, Huey, welcome. Looks like
Hey,
you got.
how are you?
I'm doing great. Huey and I were talking about doing steaks in an air fryer earlier. I guess that's tech talk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a technical piece of equipment. Yeah.
Yeah. It was sort of cool. We should maybe do some some videos about that. We should do a cook-off on our steaks in the air fryer or something. We'll have anyway, welcome. Bill James, you're here. Welcome to
Morning.
the show. Thank you for coming. And we had a good show last Thursday when you were there. Thank you for doing that.
Enjoyed it.
And I know your lips are sealed about your gadget for tomorrow's newsletter, but we do indeed looking forward to that. Mike Lehman, Moncton, New Brunswick, warming up there.
Warming up and nice and sunny today.
Very good. All right. We look forward to playing your music outro today. And of course, as we, Chris, Jim's there. Hi, Jim and Chris, wherever you are. Chris, I guess she could be on another screen. I can't see Chris, but welcome, Jim. And we look forward to
Thank
having.
you, Chris.
I'm,
I think
I'm,
up here.
I'm
Where
here.
is she?
I'm here.
Okay, that's good.
And
okay.
I'm in what's called the Coral Room. It's a lounge on board, and Jim is in our room because I'm on my iPad and I'll be able to walk around.
Exactly. All right. So we're going to get going. I'm going to, did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody? So we're going to get going now, and I am going to start the video, and we're going to talk about, this is a health app. This is a video I did about a year ago. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. Two new health apps have just been released that can save you from a catastrophic event. In this video, I'll tell you what those are and how to use them. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. As a physician, I am so excited about these two new apps, as these can prevent serious health complications. Let's go over these and I'll explain how they work. In this video, we're going to talk a lot about atrial fibrillation. You may not know what that is. I want you to go back and watch a video I made called Your Heart and Your Smartwatch. I'll put the link up here and down below in the description. Please watch that video before you watch this one. If you watched my video, Your Heart and Your Watch, then you will understand that atrial fibrillation can be diagnosed with the ECG app on your phone. Now, you have to have symptoms. So what would happen is you might feel your chest palpitating, your heart rate going up. You then think this could be atrial fibrillation. You then activate the ECG app on your watch, and it does what we call an ECG. But the important thing is it interprets it and will tell you if you have atrial fibrillation or you do not. This saves it in your health app and will be available to email or send to your healthcare provider. Now, there are 3 watches that do this. The Apple Watch does it, the Galaxy Watch 4 and Galaxy Watch 5 do it, and of course the Fitbit Sense line does this as well. So all 3 watches have been cleared by the FDA for one specific purpose. It doesn't tell you if you're having a heart attack, doesn't tell you if you need to go to the hospital. It only tells you if you have atrial fibrillation. And that is all that app does. When we expand this into the new app that is occurring on the Apple Watch and the Fitbit Sense, we're now monitoring your heart on a periodic basis through the day. This often occurs at night when you're sleeping because you're not active. It's harder to do the ECG when you're active. But periodically, both these watches are going to sample your heart rate and notify you if you have any periods of atrial fibrillation. Will it get all the rates? No. Will it turn on automatically when you actually have a period of atrial fibrillation and don't know you have it? Probably not. What they do is they randomly sample through the day and look for atrial fibrillation. All right, there are 2 new features that have been released for the Apple Watch OS 9. The operating system 9 has 2 distinct and separate features to do with atrial fibrillation. Now, there are 2 groups of patients. First, there are the patients that do not know they have atrial fibrillation. We know that atrial fibrillation over the age of 60 goes up exponentially, so it is very common. It is also the third commonest cause of stroke in the United States. The problem is patients don't know they have atrial fibrillation because it can be asymptomatic, which really means you don't have any symptoms and don't know you have it. Irregular rhythm notification is a separate feature from atrial fibrillation history. Irregular rhythm notification is for people who don't know they have atrial fibrillation. They just want their heart monitored to figure out if this is a problem. The atrial fibrillation history feature is for people who have been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation. So the two are quite different. In fact, you can't have both activated at one time. So the irregular rhythm notification samples your heartbeat through the day, most of the time at rest because it's easier to diagnose, and looks for atrial fibrillation. If it finds that you have periods of atrial fibrillation, it'll say, hey, you have atrial fibrillation and you need to go to your healthcare provider and get this sorted out. There's a second group of patients who have been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation and know they have atrial fibrillation. These patients will be under medical supervision and want to know how long they're in atrial fibrillation, what are aggravating factors, and how they can get out of atrial fibrillation. For those patients, there's a second app called Atrial Fibrillation History that we'll talk about now. So we now have the ability on the Apple Watch to enable the atrial fibrillation history feature if you have been given the diagnosis of atrial fibrillation. This will provide you with a weekly update on the deeper insights pertaining to your condition. You will be able to view an estimate of the frequency with which your heart rhythm displays signs of atrial fibrillation, as well as the impact that other factors such as exercise, sleep, alcohol consumption have on your atrial fibrillation. You also have access to a comprehensive history through the Health app with the option to download the PDF and send the information to your healthcare provider. Now, Apple has identified that this feature is available in Canada and the United States and will be approved shortly in many other countries around the world. So in summary, there are two apps on the Apple Watch. The first is irregular heart rate notification. This is where your watch will sample your heart rate periodically through the day and night. It's going to then notify you if it picks up any evidence of atrial fibrillation. Now, it usually monitors your rate when you're at rest, so it is so important that you wear your watch on a 24-hour basis. The second feature is, of course, the atrial fibrillation history. This is for people who do have atrial fibrillation, and this will monitor how long they're in atrial fibrillation and also what activity they were doing when they were having atrial fibrillation. This then compiles this over the week and gives you a report which you can share with your healthcare provider. So these two apps work quite differently and cannot be used together. Well, this is a good time to pause the video. At Tech for Senior, we make a lot of videos about your health. We would sure appreciate it if you could give us that, like and subscribe, as it helps us continue making high quality videos like you're watching today. So please click that button and do a subscribe. Let's get on with the video. Now, unlike the Apple Watch, the Fitbit series only monitors you for atrial fibrillation periodically. It does the irregular heart rate notification, and it randomly samples you through the day and night, just like the Apple Watch does. It doesn't specifically look for atrial fibrillation. It's going to sample you at certain times of the day and check and see if you had any history of atrial fibrillation in that time. So it's so important with these watches that you wear them overnight, because a lot of the sampling is done at night. One of the big advantages of the Fitbit app is that in 2021, when Fitbit did their big study with 500,000 people to look for atrial fibrillation, they used pretty much the whole Fitbit line. So the irregular heart notification on the Fitbit line will work with most Fitbit watches. That is really a big factor here. And I will put in the bottom notes all the watches that it will work on. Now, this is simply an app upgrade on your smartwatch. So you need to go to the Fitbit app and see if there is an update. And if there is, then the update will ask you if you want to activate the irregular heart rhythm notification. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. Once it's activated, then it's periodically going to check you through the day and night and notify you if there's any episodes of atrial fibrillation. But as I said earlier, this will work on not just the Fitbit Sense, which does the unique ECG. This actually will work on the whole product line, which is really great. So let me show you how this all works out. When you update the Fitbit app, you'll be presented with this menu, irregular rhythm notification. If you have a prior diagnosis of atrial fibrillation or are under the age of 22, then you're not allowed to use this app. This is an app that you will use if you are asymptomatic and looking for atrial fibrillation. This is going to do the periodic monitoring of your heart as I outlined in the previous section. Let's complete the application process. Verify eligibility. Let's put your date of birth and whether you have a history of atrial fibrillation. I qualify, have completed this, and agree. So I click the I agree, and then it discusses how the app works. I'll click next. And what to do if you receive a notification. Well, we've read that and we'll turn it on. And there's 4 things to note. If you don't get notification, it's still possible to have atrial fibrillation. Some people with AFib don't experience symptoms. And of course, Fitbit is only checking for atrial fibrillation, not a heart attack or stroke. All set and you're done. Just click that. Now it gives you more information about the atrial fibrillation app and how it works. And you're all done. Well, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you do have the Apple Watch or the Fitbit Sense series or any of the Fitbit line, please activate those apps and see if you have atrial fibrillation. This is particularly important if you're over the age of 60 because we want to prevent that stroke from happening. We also make a lot more health videos. If you want to watch these, they're on our Tech for Senior channel. Till we see you again, have a great day. That of course video was made 18 months ago, so there's a lot of changes that have occurred since then, and I'll be commenting I'll comment on those in the Q&A. All right, we're going to turn it over now because Chris is going to share her screen and take us for a tour. I think.
Here I am.
Okay.
Here I am. You hear me?
Yep. Can you share your
Okay.
screen? Can you share your
Oh,
screen?
let's just spotlight her there.
There you go. Oh, okay. Good. Okay. Yep. There you go.
For people who don't know, Jim and I have made a major life decision. We sold our house and we bought a cabin on a residential cruise ship called the Villa V Odyssey. And we just got on the ship yesterday in Cartagena. And I have my iPad and I'm going to just show you around a little bit. Right now, I am in what's called the Morning Light. It's a lounge and just an area where people can hang out and do whatever. There is a bar. And then I'm going to walk through a couple of rooms and outside and then end up in our room. And then Jim will show our photo album. And this is a quiet area, so I will be quiet. And there is the library. And then this next area will be very important to us. It's called the business center. They make sure that the Wi-Fi is the best in this room. And there's places where you can sit and plug in your laptop. And there are offices over there. We had hoped to be able to get an office, but they're all taken. So, oh well. And as you can see, maybe, yes, that is Cartagena in the distance there. And I'm going to go a little bit further, and then I'll be going downstairs. So I think I'll turn it over to Jim because I might lose internet going down the stairs to our cabin. Notice how few people you see. Well, first of all, we are in port, so a lot of people are out exploring, but also there just are not the kind of population in a residential. And this is the guest services where you come to see if anything is, hey. Okay. And then here's where I will be going down the stairs, and I will join Jim in just a minute. So Jim, you want to take it over?
Okay, yeah, sure thing. I have some, let me set that up too. Okay. All right, this is our photo album. I hope you can all see that. And in December is when we decided to do this. And a lot of you helped us make the decision. And this is early on. This is in December when we first got on board and we were walking around. This is the room, sort of like we're in right now. And it's just been fantastic. The ship itself is an older ship, but it's in really good shape. They refurbished it when they were in Ireland last summer, and they set sail in September. We got on in December and went through the Panama Canal. The food is fantastic. Chris just showed you the onboard business center, and she'll be doing a lot of work there. We have Starlink for internet, and it's just been fantastic. Well, so how much we paid when we made this is a guy named Casper. He's one of the Danes on board and made the deal. It was around Christmas, and there we are. So Chris has this. She's got a fantasy. And yeah, abandon my search for truth. I am now looking for a good fantasy, and we found it. Now the work begins. We cleared out our house in record time. Well, maybe not record time, but we got rid of all this stuff. And in our house, the house is not sold yet, but if you want a really nice house in Oakland Park, Florida, it's up for sale. And it is a nice townhouse. We packed everything. We sent a couple of shipments aboard earlier, and then we took our van. Let's see if this will play.
Opening the gate to our new life.
All right. Here we go. And it's time through that gate.
Okay, I'm almost to the room, so let me take it back for a minute. How we've been.
Okay.
So this is it.
Let me
This is the
close.
sum total of our belongings that we are taking on the plane for 2 checked bags and 2 carry-on bags. Now, we have already shipped a few things to the ship prior.
All right, Chris, unmute.
Okay, well, I just so happened to be passing our new room, and this is Heidi. Say hello, Heidi. I have a bunch of this is our new room, and she's just arranging it the way we like it. But right now we are in this room. So let me, and there we are. But we're used to small with RVs.
I'm muted.
Okay. And, you know, it has everything. And it actually is a nice big window. It's partially covered here. So we'll be able to see where we are. Okay. I'll let Jim get back to the photo album.
Now we lost audio.
All right, that works. Yeah, well, we have two devices on in here, and we don't want to have too much echo. I think we're about out of time, but we're here. This is the stories on our new cruise ship. If you go to geeksontour.com, there's a button there called Our Cruising Life, and if you click on that, you can see everything that we have going on with our all the photo albums, where we are, where the ship is. Well, that's where we are.
A map of our itinerary.
A map of it, and just all that stuff is in there. And yeah, I think you will really enjoy it. Let me change.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and we look forward to this is great. We can keep in touch and do everything, and we can live the dream through your eyes, right?
So come
All right.
along if you can.
Yeah.
And if you want to come on board, let us know. We'll make that happen.
All right. Thanks so much. Okay, now moving along, Huey has not one, but two videos for us today. Huey, I'm going to let you take over, and you can play whatever you want in whatever order.
Okay, I'll do that just as soon as I can get set up here. And let's see, you can see my screen. And we want this. And it's, of course, over here. And we're going to do this one first. I think. There we go.
We're not hearing any sound.
Okay, let me see why.
Did you share the it looks like we're just seeing your computer screen. Did you share the video file? Unmute yourself.
Let's try that again. I want to advance.
Do an advance.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, video file. That's what I didn't push. I didn't push the right button.
Yeah.
What is this button?
Let me get to the right thing.
There we go.
Yep, now we should be okay.
You should be okay now.
Google Drive versus Dropbox versus OneDrive. Which cloud storage is best? I'm Huey Poplock. Join me as I look into the world of cloud storage and challenge us to find the best service while securing our data online. In today's digital age, having a reliable cloud storage service is crucial for storing and accessing files from anywhere. Whether you're working remotely sharing documents with a team, or just backing up your personal photos, cloud storage gives us flexibility and peace of mind, but it also raises serious questions about security, accessibility, and reliability. The cloud storage dilemma. Choosing a cloud storage service can be overwhelming. There are dozens of options, each with different features, pricing plans, and security protocols. Many users face common issues such as data breaches and unauthorized access, synchronization problems across devices, confusing price tiers, limited collaboration tools. So how do you choose the best one for your needs? Let's take a closer look at 3 of the most popular services: Google Drive, Dropbox, and Microsoft OneDrive. Google Drive. Free storage, 15 gigabytes. Key strengths: seamless integration with Google Workspace, Docs, Sheets, Gmail, real-time collaboration, and a powerful search. Security: 2-factor authentication, file encryption, at rest and in transit, AI-based phishing, and malware protection. It's best for Google ecosystem users, students, teams collaborating in real time. Dropbox, free storage, 2 gigabytes. Key strengths: clean interface, easy file sharing, fast sync, strong third-party app support. Security: AES, 256-bit encryption, 2-step verification, and granular sharing permissions. It's best for users who prioritize simplicity and sharing creatives working with large media files. Microsoft OneDrive, free storage, 5 gigabytes. Key strengths: deep integration with Microsoft 365, which includes Word, Excel, and Teams. Personal Vault for sensitive files, vision history. Security: ransomware detection, 2-factor authentication, file encryption, compliance with enterprise security standards, and it's best for Windows and Office users, professionals managing documents. Here's the pricing breakdown in a chart for 2025. There are other choices, of course. Let's take a look at some of them. iCloud. It's great for Apple users. Seamless integration with Apple devices such as the iPhone, the Mac, and the iPad. The weakness: limited functionality on Windows and Android. The price is 99 cents a month for 50 gigabytes. pCloud. Strength: offers lifetime plans, one-time payment. Weakness: collaborative tools are limited compared to other competitors. And pricing is $49.99 a year for 500 gigabytes or $199 lifetime for 500 gigabytes. Mega. Strength: generous free plan, 20 gigabytes, and strong end-to-end encryption. Weakness: slower sync performance for large files. The pricing is free for 20 gigabytes or $9.48 a month for 2 terabytes. Box. Strength: excellent business and team collaboration features. Weakness: personal plans are limited in features and storage. The pricing is $10 a month for 100 gigabytes. Sync.com. Strength: privacy first, zero knowledge, and encryption by default. Weakness: no native file editing tools, unlike Google Docs or OneDrive. Pricing is $8 a month for 2 terabytes, and it's billed annually. Some final thoughts. Encryption standards. All 3 services that we're talking about are with Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, and Dropbox. All 3 services offer strong encryption at rest and in transit. OneDrive's Personal Vault adds extra protection. Sync performance: Dropbox leads with the fastest sync speeds. Google Drive offers reliable performance across platforms. File recovery: Standard 30-day history for all services. Microsoft 365 users get extended 93-day recovery. And authentication, all services offer two-factor authentication. None provide true zero-knowledge encryption. Here are the strengths and weaknesses again. So choosing the right cloud storage service is key to staying organized and keeping your data safe online. Consider your specific needs. Are you sharing lots of files? Do you work in Google Docs or Microsoft Word? Do you need the fastest syncing for large media files? Do your research, compare features, and make an informed decision. Google Drive versus Dropbox versus OneDrive. Which cloud storage is best? I'm Huey Poplock. I need to unshare, I think.
Yeah, you'll have to restart.
Yeah, restart video file, share. Yeah, I thought I did it right.
Yeah, I think you did.
It didn't start.
Unshare it
Yeah, I guess so.
and reshare.
Can you unshare me?
Just a minute here. There we go.
Here we go. Hi, I'm putting the two biggest smartphone rivals to the test. Can I choose a clear winner between iPhone and Android? I'm Huey Poplock. When it comes to choosing a smartphone, people often find themselves torn between iPhone and Android. Both platforms have their loyal followings, and it's easy to see why. They both offer a lot of great features. iPhone is known for its ease of use and sleek design, while Android offers more customization options and a wider range of devices to choose from. This dilemma can be really frustrating, especially for those who are new to smartphones. People consider factors like price, camera quality, and battery life when deciding between iPhone and Android. Some prefer the seamless integration of iPhone with other Apple devices, while others like the freedom to choose from a variety of Android devices at different price points. The decision to choose between iPhone and Android is often influenced by personal preferences and needs. For example, gamers might prefer Android for its wider range of devices with better processors, while creatives might prefer iPhone for its ease of use and integration with other Apple devices. Ultimately, the choice between iPhone and Android depends on what matters most to each individual. Whether it's price, performance, or ease of use, both platforms have their strengths and weaknesses. When comparing iPhone and Android, it's clear that both platforms have their own unique strengths and weaknesses. iPhone excels in terms of ease of use and ecosystem integration, while Android offers more customization options and a wider range of devices. iPhone's user interface is generally more intuitive, making it easier for new users to navigate. Android, on the other hand, offers more advanced features like split-screen mode and customizable launchers. When it comes to app availability, both platforms really offer a vast range of apps to choose from. You'll find all the popular social media and productivity apps on both sides. But here's the thing, iPhone often gets new apps first, while Android provides a wider range of device options. The hardware options for Android devices are, well, incredibly diverse. You have choices that range from budget-friendly models all the way to high-end flagship devices. Now, iPhone, on the other hand, has a more limited range of devices. But let's be honest, those devices tend to be on the pricier side. So after looking at both platforms, it's pretty clear that iPhone truly excels when it comes to ease of use and how seamlessly its ecosystem works together. Android, though, stands out with its customization options and, of course, the sheer variety of devices available. So the key difference between iPhone and Android really comes down to personal preference. I mean, while the iPhone is fantastic for those who value ease of use and, a seamless ecosystem, Android shines for folks who want more customization options and, a wider range of devices to choose from. When it comes to ecosystem integration, iPhone really stands out. It's generally more seamless, with features like universal clipboard and AirDrop, making it super easy to share files between devices. On the other hand, Android offers a more fragmented ecosystem. Different devices often come with different features, which can make things a bit less cohesive. Now, let's talk about customization. Android's customization options, oh man, they're a major draw for so many users. Features like launchers and icon packs let you personalize your device to an impressive degree. Meanwhile, iPhone, it has a more limited range of customization options. So, here's the thing, the choice between iPhone and Android. It really comes down to what matters most to you as an individual. Whether it's the price, the performance, or just the overall ease of use, both platforms have their strengths and, their weaknesses too. To wrap it up, both iPhone and Android have their fair share of strengths and weaknesses. At the end of the day, the decision really depends on your personal preferences. And there you go.
Yes, Gail's Pixel 9a arrives today. So her Android phone, right? All right. Thanks, you. Excellent. We will see probably some questions in the Q&A about that. All right. My next video is about what is Google TV. We did a bunch of talk about this on our Thursday show, so I decided to make a video about it. So let's have a look and see what I had to say. Here we go. What is Google TV? Often I get questions about they have Google TV on their cell phone. Sometimes they have a device they plug in their TV and they get Google TV. Or sometimes people even have it on their TV. I'm Ron Brown. This is Tech for Senior, where we help seniors understand technology and Google TV. So we're going to explain today what actually is Google TV and hopefully sort out any questions that you have. We'd sure appreciate that. Like and subscribe. Let's get on with the video and see what Google TV is. Today we're going to talk about 5 TVs I've selected. Now, once you understand the concept, you can apply this concept to any televisions out there. But the 5 that I've chosen to talk about today are Samsung, Sony, Amazon, TCL, and Hisense. So those are the 5 TVs that we're going to discuss. Now, before we start, I want to talk a little bit about what a smart TV is. Now, some of the TVs that we're discussing today have an option. When you initially turn the television on, you get a question and it says, do you want a dumb TV or do you want a smart TV? Now, if you choose a dumb TV, then basically you have a device, your television, that you plug a cable connection into it, and it will display, of course, your TV, like we used to use many, many years ago. Or you can use an over-the-air antenna on there, and that's it. That's all you have. There's no software on there. It's plugging in, and it's getting the information coming from those input devices. But if you choose a smart TV, like most of you probably will, and sometimes it just turns on and it's a smart TV, then what you really have is a computer with a display. So you would have, you think of it as a television, but it isn't. It's a computer, but most important, it has an operating system in it. Yes, there's an operating system in the TV, and that goes to a display, which is, of course, the big screen that you see when you're watching television. So each television has a operating system, and you know what an operating system is. You probably have heard of Windows. Windows is an operating system that occurs on your PC. If you have a Mac computer, then you'll have the Mac operating system on the computer. They're different. Windows is different from Mac. So each television has its own operating system. So let's have a look at our 5 TVs again, and we're going to go over what those operating systems are. So Samsung, for all Samsung TVs, the operating system is Tizen, Tizen. Now, for the Sony TV, it depends on what year, but in the last 5 years, Sony's operating system has been, you guessed it, Google TV. Yeah, there we go. Now for the Amazon TV is called a Fire OS. And then of course we come to TCL. Well, here's where it gets a little interesting. TCL can have 2 operating systems. Depends on which TV you buy. You can have 2 identical TVs on TCL, and one TCL will have a Roku operating system, and the other will have a Google operating system. So you have your choice. And if you go to Best Buy or Costco and you're looking at the identical TCL TV, a 55-inch, let's say, then you will have your choice. On the box, you'll see that it either is a Google TV, which means it has the Google operating system, or the Roku, it'll be a Roku TV and it'll have the Roku operating system. And then, of course, we would go to Hisense, and Hisense, again, you will find that it either has the Roku operating system or it could also have a Google operating system. So what operating system is the best when you go to purchase a TV? Which one should you be looking for? Let me give you some advice. The first thing is, when you go to purchase a TV, most of you will be looking at the screen resolution and how brilliant the screen is. You should also consider the operating system as a major purchase consideration. Let me explain why. So I have 5 TCL TVs in my house. I have a big house, and about 5 years ago I decided to replace my TVs, and I put all TCL TVs in my house. And the reason I bought TCL TVs is I thought they were good TVs, but I wanted one single style of remote. I didn't want to have to explain to my wife in each room that had a different TV on how to explain on how each remotes work. So I wanted to limit the confusion by having all the same TVs and all the same remotes. Now, fast forward, 2 years ago, I did replace the television in our kitchen, and I replaced it with an Amazon TV. And the reason I did that is because, of course, I have a Ring doorbell, and I have Miss A devices all throughout the house. Now, I wanted to integrate my television into my home automation, and that's why I bought the Amazon TV. But for sure, the next reason you should consider the operating system is because of home automation. As we move forward over the next 5 years, home automation is going to be a big factor and a big deal. So I think that if you are a Miss A person, I don't want to say that because everybody's Miss A device will, of course, go off. But if you are a Miss A device person like I am, then I certainly would think that a Fire OS or an Amazon TV would be a good option. And when I did this 3 years ago, when I bought my Amazon TV, that was really the only way that you could get your TV connected to your Ring doorbell. But now, in 2025, we're seeing almost all the modern TVs that are produced are Miss A enabled. So life is changing a bit there as well. So, but also if you are running down the Google plan of home automation and all your devices are Google, then maybe there's an advantage in using the Google OS to integrate your home automation. So I figure this is a critical role you have to look at in your purchase consideration on televisions. More time, you have a TV and you have an operating system. It's important that you know what the name of that operating system is. Now let's suppose that maybe you have a Google TV and you want to maybe add some features that with Miss A that aren't available on your Google TV. It just doesn't want to work. So you say, well, can I make this into a Fire TV? Can I make this into an Amazon TV using the Fire OS that we talked about? Well, now let's talk about 4 devices that you can connect to your TV to change the operating system. And this is very easy to do. And these 4 that we're going to talk about, I'm sure you've heard, Roku, Fire Stick, Chromecast, or Google Streamer as we call it now, and of course Apple TV. These companies make these 4 devices that are physical devices that you can purchase, and you can connect them to your TV, usually through an HDMI or USB port. So your TV, most modern TVs will have multiple inputs, and these multiple inputs are usually HDMI, and that's the connection that connects to your TV. And these devices will come on, there'll be little boxes or dongles or sticks or whatever they are, but they will connect onto the HDMI input port of your television. So when you want to connect it to a different operating system, or you could connect it, think of it as a different PC or whatever you want to, think of it as a different device, you simply choose on the input of your TV to that, you just select it to the device you want. And bingo, you now have your TV is running on a different operating system. That's pretty cool. So let's talk about Roku. Roku has been around for a very long time. You either can purchase a TV that has a Roku operating system, as we discussed, but if you don't, then you can buy a Roku device, and this would plug into the HDMI port of your TV. Now, the only advice I can give you, and this is pretty much advice for all the TVs, most of you now will be buying modern TVs that are powerful, 4K, and do some pretty incredible things. These devices, such as Roku and Fire Sticks, have been around a very long time. And some of them, if you have a bunch of old ones sitting in a drawer, they're not going to work very good with your new TV. So my advice is to head over to your favorite TV store and get a new modern one and talk to the salesman and probably look at because they often come with a lot of different capabilities depending on how much RAM, etc., is in these devices. So you really want to get a good one so that it works well with your brand new TV. Don't take the old one out of the drawer. All right, so we have Roku, then we have Fire Stick. Fire Stick's been around for a long time. It contains the Fire OS. Again, you can just buy one of these and plug it into a Google TV. And again, when you change your HDMI input to your Fire Stick, you will then be running on Fire OS. The same thing is true with Chromecast. Now, you probably have heard of Chromecast. Chromecast is Google's device, and it has been replaced. It was discontinued in August of 2024, streaming TV. It's called a Google TV streamer and is available for sale for just over $100, depending on what country you're in. We then, of course, have Apple TV. Again, you can plug your Apple TV in a device, and again, you have the Apple operating system running your TV. So you have all these devices now that you can purchase in addition to your television that you can connect to your TV and change the operating system. All right, so we have televisions with specific operating systems. We now have devices that we can add to the televisions, like I just discussed, that have different operating systems on those devices. So that gives us great flexibility. The last thing, of course, we have is your phone. Now, all Android and iPhones will easily connect to your TV. All modern TVs make it very easy for you to connect your phone and project onto the TV. This is called casting, and it allows you to watch videos and have them played on the TV. So yes, all the services are available through your phone. So now we have, yes, they could be on your TV, they could be on one of those devices, or they could be on your phone. Lots of choices. All right, let's look at my Google TV app on my Pixel 8 Pro. The app is here. It's got a square television looking design. So let's click this, and this brings me up to the Google TV app. And you can see it up on the left hand side here. It says Google TV. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to look down before we get into the app. I want you to look and see this button here. This says this is where we're going to cast this to a nearby TV. If we click this TV button, it's going to look for a device, and here you'll see my living room TV. I'm going to click this, and this is going to then enter a code shown on your TV, and you're going to enter this code into the system here on your app, and this is then going to be casted to your TV. So that is hopefully will explain the differences between the different services and how they work on your television. Now, this I haven't, of course, mentioned all the TVs, but all smart TVs will have an operating system. You just have to figure out what it is, and then you can make the adjustments accordingly. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Please remember that like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Okay, just before we get going in our music outro with Mike Lehman, I just want to say goodbye to everybody over in that are watching on YouTube. If you want to pop over and participate in the Q&A, we're most welcome to do so. Otherwise, we'll see you again in about a week's time. Okay, Mike, let me just stop the stream here and take it away.